You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI, Mr. Mo Kelly. It's Later with Mo Kelly, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And let's get back to our usual Tech Thursday. I know things have been really different around Southern California, which has also changed our show presentation. But it's good to see you, Marsha Collier.
It's good to see you, Mo, and it's good to have everybody out there. I hope everybody's safe and that you're making it through okay. I decided this week that I had to do something that hopefully might help us, maybe something we can do at home you were talking about the air quality, to help us with the fires and making it through leaving the house or losing your power. So I have to tell you, before I went to CES, I got in touch with a company. They were not at CES. It's a company called FlameDetector.com.
FlameDetector.com.
Right. And their product is Flame Detector. Okay, sounds good. You know the guy. And what really causes the fire, aside from the initial starting thing? You've got a smoke detector in your house. And when you get enough smoke in your house, what happens?
Beep, beep, beep.
Right. It's so annoying, but okay.
Well, that was a truck backing up, one of the two.
That's one of the two. We got to work on that. But when you have a flame, that's what starts the fire. And in these horrible winds, I don't know about where you live, but where we live in the North Valley, the winds have been insane.
Yes, they have been.
I mean, it's just dry, 8% humidity. It will carry, if somebody drops a match, it's going to just go with the wind. It's not going to just stop and maybe go out or maybe whatever. So this terrified me, and I'm looking around at it, and I told you earlier, so many people had lost things. What about if there was a way where we could find the flame before the fire? And this product was developed. Actually, there have been commercial devices around that are very expensive, but this is the first time it's done for home use. And as I said, it's called a flame detector. What it does is it's not activated by toast or steam or dust or anything. We have it sitting on the table there. It covers 130 degrees of flame detecting in the room.
For those who can't see it, obviously this is radio. It's about the size of, I would say, a lightsaber without the blade. It's like the hilt of a lightsaber size.
Yeah, it's maybe about 8 inches, 8 inches, something like that.
Yeah, maybe
and it's not
2
bad,
inches wide.
Not bad looking at all. It detects a 3/4 inch flame at 20 feet within 2 seconds. So if you get a push notification on your phone from this device that says there's a flame. Now you have kids at home. Sometimes kids play with matches.
Right.
That's how things start too. If you can get this warning before the drapes go on fire, I mean, you're at a real advantage. So, Mo, what I'm going to do is I have a lighter.
Okay, you're about 8-9 feet from it. And for those who can't see, obviously, this was a lighter flame. So we're talking about maybe at most an inch high, and you're 8 feet away from the device.
And I tested it in my office. I put it on a bookshelf, and I walked around a corner because it is 130 degree.
Mm-hmm.
And I tested it everywhere, and it never failed. And I think I have my phone on silent. I did not get the notification, but when I was testing it, you get a notification on your phone that says there's a flame detected in the office.
Okay, obviously, I'm sure someone is wondering, well, what about the false alarm of, look, I like to cook in my kitchen with a wok. Sometimes there's a flame with that.
Oh, well, then just put that away. Because this is driven by the ultraviolet light that's in a flame.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have that when you have a smoke detector. It runs on 3 AA batteries for over a year.
And just like all smoke detectors, just change the batteries at the beginning of the year. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, and it's a flame detector. So obviously, you need the Wi-Fi in your house. You can enable push notifications to your phone. Obviously, we heard it. And you can it gives you a little peace of mind. I felt a lot better when I'm hearing the news and we're driving home like maniacs from CES, that the fire is not at my house because this little gizmo didn't see a flame. Cost $129.
Is there any type of subscription fee?
Nope.
Okay.
No subscription fee at all. And the people who developed the product, you can read that on the website, flamedetector.com. He spent his life working for a major company in fire protection. I don't know how to pronounce it. Kitty. You've seen the little
Yes.
KID. And he's developed stuff for them, and he's retired, and he doesn't develop stuff for them anymore. So this is something I really think it's not cheap, but it isn't expensive. And to be able to know that your kid just struck a match at the other end of the house.
Were you that kid growing up?
Nah, I wasn't a flame kid. Boys, maybe?
I wasn't. I pretty much stayed away from fire. I had a little thing with firecrackers and army men, but that was about it. I wasn't.
You blew up your army men?
Yes, I did. I'm not going to lie. Yes. That was about it.
I've never seen that. I wouldn't.
Are you serious?
No, I've never seen anybody blow up I played with army men.
They're army men. They're dealing with ordnance. That was the whole point.
So little.
Well, it was bigger than that, but you had the army man. I'm sorry to digress. We had the army man, and one would have like a parachute, and you put a firecracker on him. And
What a brilliant idea!
it's a dangerous idea, but yeah.
But that's brilliant.
It's stuff that we did when we had too much time on our hands. These idle hands.
But you see, this is the way we can think and remember about things, and smile a little bit.
Oh, absolutely! I have all my appendages. Yes.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Electricity.
KFI AM 640. It's Later with Mo Kelly. We are live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Marsha Collier continues to join me in studio. Marsha, more emphasis, and rightly so, has been put on backup sources of power. Because of these fires, there have been unintentional power outages because of the fires, and there have been intentional power outages. You have power companies turning off the power to limit the likelihood of a transformer creating a fire. So people are rightfully looking into other backup power sources, be it propane or these battery packs. Where do you come out on it?
Well, we have to use alternative energy. I mean, you were talking earlier in the show about the air quality. It's nothing worse to me than the power going out and all of a sudden you hear a generator going off in my neighbor's house for hours, burning gasoline. It's like sitting behind a bus. Remember we used to do that in the old days you were a
Sure
kid?
did.
Right? Oh, it smells different.
Didn't know. It's toxic fumes.
Right. Whoops. But the point is we have to look for alternative, something that we don't have to burn propane to make power. Because, I mean, that would be an alternative. But so I looked around and just, I always try all these things myself. I don't ask for freebies. I actually go out and buy products. You need a portable power station. We're lucky that we live in California and we have a lot of sun. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I think solar is the greatest thing in the world, but it's something we have a whole lot of. And when you have a power outage, you'd be surprised at how many companies, there are some main companies, Goal Zero, EcoFlow, Jackery. I mean, even Duracell makes a small device. I mean, we all
On brand.
Right. We have these little power banks for our phones. You know that you have a power backup if you have an alarm system at home.
Correct.
If you have a CPAP, you really should have a small backup next to that. But what happens if the power doesn't come back on? You're going to need that CPAP for another night. So it would make sense to have solar panels, and they are manufactured by these different companies to go with their batteries and their power banks so that during the day you can put them outside, charge them, and use the power at night. The one that we have, the one that I've tested is the Goal Zero Yeti 3000 power station. with a solar generator. I don't know where the generator is, but it just looks like big panels to me.
Yeah.
They fold up in a briefcase. This is not cheap. But then again, having your entire refrigerator go down and your freezer after 3 days, or actually having your food, makes a huge difference.
How big are these solar panels?
The solar panels, actually, I'll show you a picture. That's a teeny tiny picture, but
they're as big as like what we call like a pitching net back in the day.
And they fold up.
Yeah,
and they go into a briefcase style thing.
Yeah, it's almost like backyard furniture, basically.
Yeah, but it folds up, so it's in like a case, like designers used to carry artwork in cases, that kind of case.
So you could bring it out at a moment's notice if need be.
Exactly. And we did have a power outage, and I did, for what do you do? First thing, you run around the house, you get all the torches, things like that. You put them in the room, so you have them. And the smart thing is to keep them charged ahead of time.
That was my next question, because we don't know when we're going to have the next emergency. And if it's in the garage for most of the time, I mean, to the best of your knowledge, how long does it hold a charge? Or do I have to bring it out once a month or something to charge it up?
Every between 3 to 6 months.
There we go. Okay.
In this particular model. And the interesting thing is it has 7 different port options, including fast charging 60-watt USB-C, multiple USB-A ports, regulated 12-volt, and 2 120-volt AC ports.
Okay, so there's the generator, and there are the solar panels.
Right.
Okay.
And this little thing, it looks like a big battery, and it goes on kind of what looks like a hand truck.
Yeah, it looks like a typical typical generator, fossil fuel generator or electric generator.
So power goes out. Luckily, I have a really strong husband, but I'm sure all of us have neighbors and can always get help, hopefully. You roll out your refrigerator. I never knew refrigerators had wheels. This is something.
Not all of them, trust me.
They don't?
I've moved a few in my day. I think they're more standard now with the wheels, but yeah. I just know that because I had to move my mother's refrigerator last week, who was getting her kitchen done. But that's another story for another day.
My mom needs a new refrigerator.
It's relatively new. It's not on wheels. It slides easy, but it's not on wheels.
Okay. And they do have those little silicone things that you can get on Amazon. They're little silicone pads that you can put under the bottom and make it slide. But anyway, this particular device will run a full-size refrigerator for 43 hours. I mean, that's not bad. And what's interesting is you have a gauge on these power generators.
That's 43 hours on one charge. That's assuming that you don't get a charge the subsequent day, right?
Right. But what you can do is when daytime rolls around the next day, these devices, now they don't all do it, so you have to look at the specs of whatever you're considering buying. They can charge while they're discharging. And that's the key thing. You just get the extension cords for the solar panels, put them outside, and let it charge. And it's got all the dials, and it's very, very, very technical looking. The one that we have has 200 total watts. And I am not an electrical expert, but it isn't heavy. It's in a canvas bag. And you just roll those things outside, put it in there. And you can also charge smaller chargers because they're battery size chargers. You know, like your car battery size chargers. There's small ones like that, which if you want to keep one of those next to your bed for your CPAP.
I have it next to my studio.
Okay.
I have one of those for my studio.
Yeah. And I have one. I haven't plugged it in yet. It's a big, giant thing for my computer, but haven't done that yet. But the thing is, we should do it, especially with the solar panel recharge, because if you want to recharge these and there's no power, look into these. Prices are all over the place on them because new models are coming out all the time and they're having sales all the time on the websites. That's EcoFlow, Jackery, Goal Zero. Oh, Anchor also makes a good power station.
Oh, ANKOR?
ER, yeah.
ER. Oh, they make the small.
They make
charge.
the little power
Yes,
banks.
okay.
Yeah. They make big ones
That's
now.
on brand. Okay.
Okay, so consider this instead of a generator that's just polluting everything and it's just going to drive you crazy with the noise, because these days we don't know how long the power can be out for. And the sun is a renewable source if we just use it.
Great advice, great information. That's what we love to do. Useful and usable information, like right now.
That's what I try to do.
Marsha Collier, let's remind people how they can find you.
You can find me, if my web host hasn't screwed up again, at marshacollier.com, or find me on X. You find me on X, you can talk to me and I'll talk back to you. And on my website, there's a contact form that emails me direct.
Marsha will respond. So if you reach out to her, she will respond. If you've got questions, she has answers.
I try. I certainly try. Thank you, Mo, for inviting me again.
Absolutely. It's always good to see you, and hopefully we get to see you again next week.
I'll be there.
It's Later with Mo Kelly, KFI AM 640 live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Believe it or not, it's almost time to start talking about baseball and the upcoming baseball season. And you know, I live and die with my Dodgers, over the moon that they won another World Series, and love that it was at the expense of the hated New York Yankees and how the New York Yankees imploded for the world to see. I don't know if it'll be any better than that this year, but each year they have Dodgerfest, and Dodgerfest is coming up shortly, and it'll be at Dodger Stadium on Saturday, February 1st, just a little over a week from now, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And the gates will open at 10 a.m. that morning. Tickets will be on sale for the public. Actually, it started this morning at 10 a.m. Tickets are now on sale, and you will be able to get tickets for as little as $20, with a portion of the proceeds, more importantly, going to Los Angeles wildfire recovery efforts. And get this, it's hard to think of any time in which parking is free, especially at a sports arena or stadium. Well, parking is free. And you can get all these tickets at Dodgers.com/DodgerFest. Dodgerfest this year will be held in Dodger Stadium parking lots B, D, and P. And this is different because, as opposed to inside of Dodger Stadium itself, you may not know there's some remodeling, there's some construction and other things which are being changed inside the stadium. So this year they'll be doing it in Dodger Stadium parking lots B, D, and P. Well, Mo, what is Dodger Fest? What is going to be going on there? Well, you'll be able to meet players. You'll be able to meet coaches, team alumni, and there will be an interview show with team members. There's a yard sale and mystery bag sale where you can purchase Dodgers memorabilia. And also there will be VIP events like a Jackie Robinson themed tour, a Vin Scully press box experience, photo opportunities with the World Series trophy and players. I would probably love that. And tickets for the VIP events, they will not be available for sale until next Tuesday, the 28th, and they're probably more than $20 in cost. Just let you know that right now. And if you've been following the Dodgers, they have been really cleaning up in what is called the free agent portion of the offseason, signing new players, signing great talent from around the world. And if you haven't been following baseball, the Dodgers are now, I would say arguably, and I say this very lovingly, the most hated team in baseball, because they are willing to spend as much money as possible to get the best players available in the world. And they're not doing anything that another team couldn't do. Their ownership is just more committed to winning, and they're much more creative as far as how they're structuring these contracts. We talked last year and last season about Shohei Ohtani's deal, which is $750 million, but most of it is deferred. Most teams aren't willing to do that. Why? Because it's a high risk proposition. You have a player who may not be as good or just productive 7-8 years down the road, but you're still on the hook for a lot of money in a very, very cumbersome contract. The Dodgers, I would say, were fortunate in the sense that they only had to pay like a couple of million this year to Ohtani, and he helped deliver a World Series. But that was a bet. That was a wager that Ohtani was going to be able to be impactful right now, and a wager that he would be impactful 7 and 8 years down the road, where the brunt of the money would come due for Ohtani. And they've structured other similar deals with players where the Dodgers are going to owe a hell of a lot of money to a hell of a lot of players. And the question is whether the wins on the field and the merchandise sold off the field financially will be able to make up for that. Look, the folks who put these deals together are obviously much smarter than I am when it comes to creating and structuring these contracts and making sure that the Dodgers as an organization are still financially viable. But I love it when my favorite team is doing the absolute most available to them with the resources they have available to make sure that they're putting on not only a competitive product on the field, but arguably the most talented team, at least on paper, in the whole sport. That's what I want. And I don't care if other organizations or like the Seattle Mariners and Seattle from Mark's old town, they're probably screaming about, hey, we're a small market. We can't do what the Dodgers are doing. Yes, you can. You just have to try harder.
I know you're just trying to needle me, and I'm not going to take the bait. I'm not taking the bait.
Take it. Take it.
You take it.
Did you grow up caring about the Mariners at all?
No, but it's inescapable if you live in Seattle, and they have a really nice stadium there with really nice food at it. So if you're a nerd like me who's not that into most sports at this point, you're really the outcast because everybody there loves the Mariners. Everybody.
Each time you tell me that, I am so surprised, Mark, because you are a former athlete.
I was an athlete most of my life, but it was all the unpopular stuff like kickboxing, wrestling, track, cross country. I tried baseball when I was a kid, and I got whacked in places you don't want to get whacked with the ball. That'll scare you off it.
I get that, but you have that competitive spirit, and you have an appreciation of sports. I'm just surprised it didn't carry over into your adult life.
It carried over into my profession because I've always been drawn to things that require you as an individual to show more nerve than anybody else, which is why I loved wrestling. And that's why I love work that requires you to do things that most people are petrified of, like public speaking and writing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think there's a parallel there. Honestly, were you ever an MMA fan?
Yeah, and I'm grateful that I was a little aged out of that by the time it really became a thing. Otherwise, I would have no teeth now. I love it.
Yeah, they don't know that side of you.
No. I figured between my wrestling and kickboxing background, I would have been pretty fierce at MMA. But no matter how good you are, you don't get through that unscathed.
No, and you're not paid enough to justify the sacrifice. It's not like boxing where the fighters are making at the top of the sport millions and millions of dollars. It's not like that.
No, you don't get the kind of payday Tyson just got fighting Jake Paul. But I will say, baseball games are fun to go to. I used to love, forget about the Mariners, the bunch of yuppie scum go to those things. I like going to a good old working class Cubs game in Chicago at Wrigley Field. Those are great.
They are great. And I think people they miss out because they think of sports in only the televised capacity. Baseball, especially hockey, those are sports which are better enjoyed and appreciated in person.
With a bunch of rotten drunks that if they spill a beer on you, their way of apologizing is to offer you a drink of the beer.
All I can say is I love baseball more on the radio than I do on TV.
How is that? I don't understand that.
What they call the bird's eye view. Chick Hearn, when he was talking about when he was a broadcaster for the Lakers, he called it the bird's eye view. Be able to tell a story and to give you a sense of the emotion and environment that the TV just can't. TV is very sterile. There's not a lot of movement with baseball. There's more commentary than there is actual action when it comes to broadcasting or televising a baseball game.
It takes a lot of talent to do that and make it interesting and captivating. And like, for instance, I listen to Keith Olbermann a lot, and so you'll get a lot of sports content with that, and he's got a real appreciation for the masters, the classics.
People sometimes forget because depending on how old you are, you don't remember him as a sports broadcaster or an anchor for ESPN. They know him only for his political commentary.
Oh, he was primarily a sports nerd and then moved into politics later on.
Yeah. But, I feel sorry for the younger generation because there are fewer and fewer masterful voices who are narrating these games in any of these sports. If you grew up in LA, you had an excessive amount of riches, an abundance of riches, because you had Bob Miller for the Kings, you had Vin Scully for the Dodgers, you had Chick Hearn for, obviously, the Lakers. And people don't remember this, Vin Scully, and Chick Hearn for that matter, did multiple sports. So you would find them, Vin Scully, I think he was doing NFL football, if I'm not mistaken. And that's how talented they were, in the way that Al Michaels today would do multiple sports, or you have Mike Tirico who would do multiple sports. Back then, we just had these larger than life figures who were the voices of so many magical moments in sports. And you just have fewer and fewer of those now.
And I think the mark of a real pro at that is somebody who can make it interesting to people who aren't hardcore sports fans. And that's the same with sports writing. And I always try to apply that to my entertainment writing. You write a movie review for people who will enjoy it, whether or not they're ever going to go see a movie. So there was a sports writer from Chicago named Bernie Lincecum. I didn't give a damn about any of the stuff, any of the games he was writing about, but I loved reading his writing about them. And you can apply that to spoken word sportscasts as well.
So very well said, Mark. You ought to get back into your love of sports.
It won't. I want to be the world's first major collegiate wrestling commentator. I'm going to do color commentary on a double leg takedown. That'll be thrilling for people.
Yeah, it's a growth industry. I'll say that.
Yeah,
it has a lot of growth available to it.
I don't want to see that growth.
It's Later with Mo Kelly. When we come back, we're going to tell you about the most popular grocery store in America. I wonder what it is. I wonder if there's a California connection. We'll find out in just a moment.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Ooh, Later with Mo Kelly on KFI AM 640.
We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. We all have our favorite grocery stores. But are they really that good, or they're just convenient, or it's just some sort of emotional attachment we have to them? I know I have my favorite. I came across this survey produced by YouGov, a market research and analytics firm, and they recently released this data showcasing which grocery store in the U.S. that people love the most. So this is not empirical data. This is just what people love. This is the emotional attachment. They list 30. We're going to very quickly go through. Let's go to the top 15. Top 15. Here we go. Number 15. Albertsons at number 15. I happen to like Albertsons.
Are they still around though?
Yeah, they got one, but yes. I've been there a few times. I can think of two. There's one in Gardena. There's one in Carson that I go to rather routinely.
There's an Albertsons near me that I used to go to all the time, but they're, you know how you have to download an app to get the coupons and stuff?
Yeah.
It got so confusing that I dropped them. I dumped Albertsons.
I always say they just give me the discount when I go up there. It's like, oh, I forgot my Albertsons card. That's what I do. I'm lazy like that. Yep, I'm being serious.
I didn't know you could do that.
Shh, trade secret.
Okay.
Number 14. In fact, I can't even use my drum roll because we won't have enough time. Number 14 is Amazon Fresh. Now, Amazon Fresh, yeah, because we're talking about love. This is trendy feeling. I would not go to Amazon Fresh before an Albertsons. Number 13, Winn-Dixie. That's regional.
Yeah.
Number 12, Save-A-Lot. Number 11, I Get It. It's garbage, but I get it why people love it. Piggly Wiggly.
I've actually seen one of those.
Yes.
Yeah. Back east, yeah.
Back east, most definitely. Number 10, Sprouts Farmers Market. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. Number 9, Safeway. I do not like Safeway. Do not.
To me, Safeway is just Albertsons, but across the street.
Yeah. Well, they're usually all in the same
What do you
place.
have against Safeway?
It goes back to their practices in the 1970s. Let me put it that way.
I see.
And the types of food and goods that they made available for the urban communities as opposed to the other communities.
Oh, this is a deeper issue. I see.
Yeah, it's a deeper issue.
All
Yeah.
right.
Number 8, Fresh Market. I don't think I've been there.
Yeah, Fresh Market. Those are those new. They're the new hood supermarkets.
Got it. Number 7, Publix or Publix.
Yep, they have one of those in Erie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Number 6, it's not a grocery store. Circle K.
Circle K.
It's not a grocery store.
They
Just because
have
food in it.
eggs. They have eggs. They have apples.
Why don't you
they
put
have
like
bananas.
Dollar Tree? That's a grocery
They
store.
have
then.
sandwiches, milk, dairy products. Yes. Frozen food section. Yes.
That's a technicality right
Whoa,
there.
really? Number 5, Kroger, which is inclusive of, I think, is it Albertsons or Ralph's?
Ralph's.
Ralph's?
It's in the family. Yep.
Number 4, Aldi. Went to one the other day. I was not impressed. Not impressed.
Aldi is
In
the
Gardena.
99-cent store version of
I
the
know.
supermarket.
You got to know what to get there.
Yeah, it's really limited. I'd rather
the
go
lamb
to like,
there. It's great,
I'd rather go to grocery outlet.
but it's apples and oranges. It's the same thing.
All right. Number 4 is Aldi. Number 3, Whole Foods. I thought that'd be number 1 because the way people swear by Whole Foods. My wife's like, oh, gotta go to Whole Foods. Do they have a Whole Foods over here? We can't move over here unless they have a Whole Foods. It's like, really? Really? I mean, I go to the one in Burbank. It's like right across the street from the studio. And there's a reason they call it Whole Paycheck, because that stuff is expensive.
It is.
There's some other things I'd like to say, but I can't say it on the air about Whole Foods. There are other.
Well, you mean the people walking their dogs?
No, that's what I
around
don't
over there
like. But
constantly.
let's just say you're a single man and you can appreciate the beauty of women.
Hey, you know what?
Over that Burbank Whole
no.
Foods? Oh,
Yeah.
my gosh.
The last time I ran into Mark, we ran into that exact problem. We couldn't. We had to go. We had to go. Too many yoga pants.
It seems like women get made up to go grocery shopping at Whole Foods.
Yeah.
The amount of yoga pants and half shirts and
I was like, you sick SOB.
I was like, y'all know what you're doing. It's like, you're just parading now. You're showing off. That was number 3. Number 2, Trader Joe's. I went to the Trader Joe's back in the day when I was living in Studio City. They have one at Lancashire and Ventura Boulevard. And I would go there and I was just consistently underwhelmed. It's like, okay. Trader
Tough
Joe's.
crowd. Tough grocery crowd tonight.
No, this is about what people love. I didn't see what they loved about it. I didn't love whatever they loved about it.
For me, the reason I like it so much is they have one of a kind things that you can't get anywhere else. But the other part,
Like E. coli? What?
but the other part that sucks is
I
that
want my
they'll
rim
take them
shot.
away and they won't bring them. They'll be like, we don't know when they're coming back. You know?
I don't know why the Trader Joe's parking lots are always so damn
And
tiny.
they're small.
They're
Always.
tiny and they're hard to navigate.
Yes.
Why are they made up in a maze?
This is not big enough for a grocery store.
Well, they want you to feel grateful when you finally get in the store.
Not worth the effort. Not at all. And number 1, does anyone have any idea what the number 1 most beloved grocery store?
Ralph's.
That's my guess.
Mark?
Johnny Carson always used to joke about shopping at Ralph's, so I'm going to go with that too.
Ralph's did not make the top 15 list. Let me see.
What?
That's kind
Ralph's, let me see if they're in the top 30. No.
Not even the one I go
What?
to with all the
No.
hookers.
No.
That's weird.
Nuh-uh.
That's super weird.
Nowhere on the list. Number
This list
30,
is biased.
Wild Oats. 29, HEB. Don't know what that is. 28, Stop and Shop. 27, A&P. That's definitely East Coast and South. 26, Winco. 25, Shop and Save. 24, Giant Eagle. I've been there. 23, Casey's General Store. 22, ShopRite. 21, Wegmans. 20,
Yeah, Wegmans.
Giant. Yes, been there. Number 19, Food for Less. That place is horrible. Food for Less is horrible.
You can find
roaches.
No, that's where I go and get a lot of my stuff for when I'm making gumbo, because they have a lot of really quality ethnic products that you can't get at
That's true.
Whole
I
Foods.
was also where I shopped when I was in college.
There's a reason.
Yeah.
Number 18, IGA. Don't know what that is.
Oh, yeah.
Number 17 is it My Hair? MEIJER? Meyer. Number 16, Food Lion. Aware of it, never been there. And we told you about the other 14.
Where is Vallarta?
Not on this list.
Vallarta supermarket.
Nope. They don't even have El Superior on here.
What?
El Superior.
I don't like this list.
I know. Here's number 1. No one knows what number 1 is. Here is the number 1 grocery store in America as beloved by shoppers.
Oh, thank heaven. or 7-Eleven. Oh, thank heaven. Oh, thank heaven for 7-Eleven.
I'm not kidding.
Invalid.
No one goes to 7-Eleven and thinks, "Oh, I'm going to go grocery shopping today."
Now, okay.
Or give me some pizza and some pizza rolls.
Okay. I look, I have got to say, it was a night last week. I was here super late and I had remembered that we were out of toilet paper. Every supermarket was closed. You know where I found not only toilet paper, I found, I got some milk and I got a nice big hot piping cup of coffee. All of this was at 7-Eleven.
That doesn't make it a grocery store.
But if they sell, do
they have a meat section? Do they have produce?
No, they do have a meat section. It is meat sandwich snacks. Okay, it is like sandwich snacks that you can put together with different meats and cheeses.
No, I didn't say because you find meat there. I said, never mind.
7-Eleven is closer to being a vending machine than a grocery store. Okay.
Yes, it's not even a convenience store. There's nothing convenient about it.
Just getting held up.
You're saying if 7-Eleven is a grocery store, that means AM PM is a grocery store.
Yes, they are two of the easiest and most accessible grocery vending.
They're not grocery. They don't have grocery
AM PM,
bags.
you can even get gas. You can get your groceries and your gas.
It just makes it's closer to. Never mind. Yeah, that's. I don't know why I'm even trying to argue this. KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere in the iHeart. Hey, wait a minute. Stephen, you owe me a rim shot. You laughed at one of my jokes.
It's expired. You can't have it now.
We're live everywhere. Thank you on the iHeart Radio app.
I don't know what you're thinking, and I kind of like that. Keeps it fun.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live.